Boom, 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 boom. Yo, what up? It's Aaron Moses. I was sitting around yesterday and decided to Google a person I knew a while ago. I'm not gonna say his name, but we weren't cool when he passed away. We haven't been cool for some years now. I met him when I was like 25, 24, 23, something like that. So like 2014, something like that. And I found out he passed away. And at first I felt good about it. And I still do. Because of the circumstances in which we parted ways. But then as I went to his obituary, his electronic obituary, and then I went to the page where people could leave their thoughts and comment on how he affected their lives, I was thinking, I didn't see too much of this. But at the end of the day, I had to remember that this is somebody's son, this is somebody's brother, somebody's uncle, and he didn't lead that positive. He didn't lead a positive life. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to make fun of the dead or disrespect anything or anybody. But if you want to know what homie I'm talking about, I have a video called it's something to the effect of the homie messed up a three-way. Something to do with three-way. So if you type in Aaron Moses the one and you type in three-way on YouTube, it'll pop up. So this guy was a gangbanger. He was homeless. He more than likely was homeless when he made his transition. And I found out that he passed away due to head trauma. More than likely, somebody beat him up to the point where he could no longer, recover. He didn't make it. You know what I mean? He was doing a lot of negative things. He was going in and out of jail, and ultimately, the reason I Googled him was to see uh, the last time he went to jail again. You know, what I learned from this was yes, you could be good, you could be a positive person to those who know you, but if you put negative energy into the world consistently, I'm not gonna say it's gonna come back to you because it doesn't always come back to you. You could say, but what about Nipsey Hussle? What about Tupac? What about XXX Bro, life just life's, bro. RIP to him. I mean, or whatever. Not so. The thing about it is, the way that I interact with people is very different. That wasn't my friend. He wasn't my friend from the beginning, the middle, or the end. You know what I mean? So no, I don't feel bad. I don't feel good. I'm not happy about it because the thing about me is when people do me wrong, when people do me dirty, I want them to live so they could physically see me doing something. So they could physically see that I'm better than when I met them. So they could physically regret doing the negative things that they did and having the negative interactions that we had. And again, like I said, I'm not happy. I didn't throw a party. I actually thought about some of the good times we had, to be honest with you, because I am human and that person was human and I'm not like all the way a demon, not yet, unfortunately. But I do want to say that you should spread positivity. You should be a blessing while you have the chance. Because had he been in a different position energetically, he might not have had went out like that. If like Lord Infamous said, "How you live is how you die," but in the end, we all will fry. I'm not saying that he wanted to go out like that because I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't. I'm not gonna say everybody because everybody's not healthy up here. But if you lead the life, if you live the life of a gangbanger, of a gangster, you can only expect that chapter to end in so many ways, whether that be the graveyard, in prison for life, or temporarily and just be messed up, homeless, or you might just be the few that make it to the end with honor and respect, and you don't think about game banging. You're not obsessed with taking people's lives all day because to be good at what you do, to be good at what you do, i- if you want to be great at what you do, especially when it impacts a lot of people's lives, you should probably be obsessed with whatever it is that you're doing. Whether you're a doctor or a lawyer or a YouTuber, you should be obsessed. You should be overtaken by the essence of what you do at all times, especially when it's serious, bro. Especially when you get tattoos all on your face, especially when you get into conflict. That's the thing that you go back to. That's the only thing that you can think with. That's the only thing that's protecting you. You got to be with it, bro. Now, I'm not in a gang or anything like that. I'm not a gang, active gang member or anything like that, gang banger. But what I do know is being homeless and being a gang banger don't really go together well because you don't have any protection. Being homeless is being vulnerable. As an animal, as a human animal, you should not be homeless. But as a human animal that is a gangbanger, you definitely shouldn't be homeless. You definitely shouldn't be waiting on the bus. Waiting on the bus. You definitely should have a car. You definitely should have some kind of firearm. You definitely should have shelter. You definitely should not burn bridges to the point where nobody wants you to be in their house. That's not smart. Okay? So I'm not encouraging anybody to participate in any street activities, but if you are, you should have at least a car. You should have at least gas money for that car. You should have at least a shelter. You should have at least peers that embrace you and see you as valuable so you don't end up like a dog in the street, bleeding out, shaking, whatever the case may be. I don't know. And again, like I said, it's not to down talk the dude and it's not to laugh at him. Even though, yeah, I felt like one less, whatever, or he shouldn't have did that. At the end of the day, I'm not God, bro. Just because you do something negative to me or bad to me, or I might be traumatized by something you may do, that doesn't necessarily mean that you deserve to be dealt with fatal wounds or fatal injuries. I don't necessarily think that. Not about everything, but we need to start understanding how we affect other people and how that's gonna affect our future. You need to be in love with your future. And when I was trying to get at was, how you live is how you die. In the end, we all will fry. But look, how you live, if you're going to be in that life, you have to be open to the fact that something is going to happen. Something's going to happen positive one day, something's going to happen negative one day, like everybody else. But the more that you push in one direction, you have to be prepared with that equal amount of force. If you live like a doctor, I'm not saying that you're going to end up on a surgeon's table and something might go wrong if you mess up a surgery or two, because that comes along with being a doctor. I think the average doctor ends up making a mistake that costs somebody their lives once every 20 years. So if you're a doctor and you practice for 40 years, you're gonna end up killing at least two people. And not that it's malpractice, it just happens. If you are a fireman, I'm not saying that you deserve to be burned just because you couldn't put every fire out. I'm not saying that. But whatever you live for, if you really want to live, if you truly want to live a fulfilling life with meaning, and you don't want to have just two people commenting on your life on the internet, people from your childhood and your mom's friends, You shouldn't live a lifestyle of destruction. You shouldn't live a selfish lifestyle. Because when I went to that page, I listened to a lot of drill music. You know what I mean? I was born in Chicago. I lived in Chicago a long time. I was gonna comment something negative because I knew people who so-called loved him would see it. But I didn't want that energy to come back to me, bro. So I made the decision not to do that. Because I knew a lot of people wanted that to happen, and a lot of people were happy, way happier than me. Because he didn't do anything to my friends. He didn't do anything. He did do something to my family, but that was little. That was something that we could have replaced. We did replace. He did something to his family, but we do have to understand that yeah, materials, how you made me feel, how you make other people feel is really all they remember. They might not remember everything you say, everything you do, but we all have feminine and masculine in us. You could be the biggest, toughest alpha male out there, but you're human. You have some kind of feminine energy inside you. Not saying that you're feminine, not saying that you act like your mom or your sisters or whatever, but we all have a part of us that's receptive. We all have a part of us that's gonna take in your energy and that's gonna magnify it and push it out into the world, bro. That's just what it is. Whether it be Larry Bernard Hoover, free him, whether it be Tookie Williams, RP to him, whether it be Roger, damn, I forgot his name, whether it be Willie Lloyd, whether it be whoever. T. Rogers, my bad, RP, T. Rogers. Whether it be the hardest gangster you know, Big Meech, free him. They all have some kind of receptivity to energy that's gonna put out what you give to them, bro. It might not be immediate and it might not be apparent, but you affect people, bro. And everybody, a lot of people might feel negative about themselves, and you don't think anything is special about you or valuable about you. Just know that you affect other people. Just know you have the ability to affect and influence other people. Sometimes you affecting other people is affecting you, not affecting other people is affecting other people. That's making the world a better place, or it might be making the world a worse place. Just know that if you don't think it's anything special about you, just know you have God's energy inside you. You have creative energy inside you. You have masculine energy inside you that could change somebody's life with one sentence. That's how powerful you are. If you don't think anything is special about you, that's your superpower. The word. The words that you speak out your mouth, the actions that you take, the decisions that you make is your superpower, your sobriety. Your decisions are your superpower, bro. Every dollar you spend, every breath you breathe, it's affecting somebody else. And you don't want to die. And there's strangers commenting some stuff about you in your childhood that don't know that you was out here harming people, taking people's lives, so you could sleep in the house for the winter. Because you don't have any money, because you don't have a home. And you don't have a home because you don't have any money. So they said, hey, instead of selling this, instead of holding these guns, why don't you go over there and take that person's life? We know it's a cold Chicago winter. You want to sleep on the bed for 4 months? All right, if you go smoke that person, we'll let you stay in the house. We don't value you enough to let you sleep in the house. So you got to go take somebody's life for you to sleep in this house. Do you know how, do you know how do you know how dangerous that is to have a whole bunch of people in an already dangerous city to feel like that's all they're worth is to take somebody's life? And that's what that person told me that he was experiencing. Did I believe him? To an extent. Because I don't want to say bro was soft or anything like that. I seen him do some very questionable things. He was human, bro. At the end of the day. Now, I'm gonna give you just a little backstory on how we met and how we end up not being cool. And I'm gonna put the video in the link in the description to let you know who this person was. So I was sitting, no, I was walking to the store, probably go get some beer, something like that, some cigarettes. And bro asked me, he was like, "Hey, you smoke tree?" I said no. He was like, "You got another cigarette?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Well, why don't you, if you ever end up smoking some green, just take my information." I pulled out my phone, and he was like, "Nah, I don't have a phone number." Excuse me. That should have been my first red flag. That was my first red flag. And I got his Facebook information. And I said, "Hey, bro, I just started working at this little warehouse through a tip agency. Why don't you come down and fill out an application? They'll hire you. You start in like 3 days." He was like, "Yeah, G, but I don't got my ID." Second red flag. So I end up adding him on Facebook. A week goes by. He end up inviting me to a party, and I met some cool people at that party. Now we hung out probably like 2 or 3 times, drank some beers, whatever. And then for whatever reason, like 2 or 3 weeks later, he ended up calling me and telling me that the place that he was staying, he was getting kicked out. Now, I didn't have any friends back then. I was on the run myself. So kicking in with people, I really appreciated their company. For whatever reason, I decided to help him. Well, really, I did it by myself. He just told me where everything was. Help me to go into somebody's house and relieve them of their things. Because he told me that he was borrowing money from the people's friends who lived there, and they got mad at him when he was trying to pay his rent with their friends' money, so they decided to kick him out. I became mad. I hadn't practiced my thug energy in a minute. I haven't flexed those muscles, so I ended up going in their house and taking everything. Nah, not everything, but a lot of stuff. So they didn't know it was me because I'm a genius. But at the end of the day, I end up understanding that he kind of fabricated those reasons. But I end up letting him stay with me at my grandmother's house, right? At the end of the day, he really wasn't that cool with me. He was just thankful to have a place to stay. He'll go to parties and try to get money however he was getting money. I'm going to work, going to school. And eventually he ended up going to jail. I'm gonna just skip all the fluffy stuff. He ended up going to jail. He introduced me to his mom, his girlfriend, his sister. Now, in my mind, I didn't really think this was a big deal. Plus, I just thought he was trying to play me by acting like I was just this big friend. He ended up going to jail because of some weird stuff. Some weird stuff that ended up happening I don't really want to speak on. Um, his girl tried to. She came over my house, and you know what happened, probably while he was in jail. You know what I mean? And he got out, went to his auntie and uncle's house. He ended up robbing their house when they were trying to help him. They were trying to help him get his gang tattoos removed off his body, trying to get him in school, trying to get him a job. He didn't want to do that. You know what I mean? So he ended up robbing them, came back to my house, tried to come back to my house, and I told him, "No, bro, because his auntie called me. His auntie called me. I don't know how she got my number, but I guess she kept seeing the same number that he was calling from the phone. His auntie called me, and then she told me what happened, and he hit me up, and I was like, "Nah, bro, I don't even live there. I moved to Kenosha because I was in Chicago at the time. I moved to Kenosha with my girl, which I didn't. So he found somewhere else to live for a minute, and he ended up hitting me up again like 3 months later, and he was like, "Hey, bro, I found somewhere to stay. Can I come get my stuff?" I was like, "To be honest with you, bro, I left all that stuff in the old house during my move. He ended up moving back in with me for like 2 weeks, and then he ended up taking some stuff out of my house, my Ray-Bans, my grandma's laptop, and then something else I can't remember. Probably some shoes or something like that. But at the end of the day, we didn't interact with each other after that. I never heard from him again. He probably ended up reaching out to me one more time, but I was not with it. I did end up moving to like Oklahoma at some point, but having a baby. But at the end of the day, that's what I remember, bro. That's what I remember. And Am I gonna throw a party? Am I gonna pop a bottle because this guy end up passing away? Nah, no, I don't feel like that, bro. I end up seeing his sister after that. She was making weird faces at me, and I'm thinking, you don't know what happened. Now, people have trauma, people have problems, people have abandonment issues. They try to put that on me. He ended up passing away. He ended up passing away, Vonnie. This is the dude I'm talking about. Now, I made a video called the time the homie messed up a three-way for me. That's a real story. That's him. But people have good and bad to them, bro. People have happy. People are people. People are diamonds. People have multiple personalities. You can't always rely on everybody to be consistently giving and consistent because people go through stuff. And some people don't grow after they get hurt so bad. He was telling me about times that his mom was, selling her body and he would walk in with one of the Johns, giving his mom that work. And he cried, you know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure nobody knows what I'm talking about, so I'm okay. And he's not here. And I don't mean to disrespect the dead or what have you, but when I saw that, when I see this dude going from cursing people out and throwing up gang signs, about to fight, to now you're crying thinking about your childhood, and then you're crying thinking about your dad and telling me that, man, I wish I grew up like you. And I was like, bro, my life is, and he was like, bro, you want to be this and you want to be that, but I wish I grew up like you. I wish I grew up with a pool in my backyard. I don't know why people think I grew up so well. I didn't. I didn't grow up with a pool in my backyard, bro. Just because I speak like I know how to read, like just because I talk proper. Nah, I was poor growing up, bro. My whole life, my nigga. Like, no, like, nah, bro. That's not it. That didn't happen. I had a backyard, but I didn't even go back there. But no, I didn't grow up rich. Neither one of my parents were rich. They had me when my dad was 19, my mom was 20. In the south side of Chicago, bro. I was homeless for the first like 10 years of my life by definition. Like, no, bro, that's not, I didn't grow up, no. I had a lot of things that people didn't have. I can't say that I was I was sleeping in closets on the floor. That's not what happened. But no, I came from humble beginnings, and I still live very humbly to this day. But do I feel bad that he passed away? I don't feel bad because he didn't take advantage of the resources because he wanted to be thugged out. He wanted to be in the street. He wanted to be something. Look, I don't know his whole story. I'm not a mind reader. Get the likes up, hit that like button. But he had a couple opportunities. If he had an auntie and uncle that was willing to give him a job or help him get a job, get the likes up, and get him in college and help him get the gang tattoos removed off his face, he don't want to take advantage. I didn't have that. You know what I mean? I asked my parents for money for college. They told me to figure it out. I couldn't even get a ride to school. I had to walk 3 miles to get to college. And I still got college debt. And one of my parents told me not to go to college because I didn't know how to be a good student and not to follow my dreams. At least you have people in your family telling you to go to college. I have people discouraging me from going to college, taking me out of high school. I was supposed to graduate high school. I didn't drop out of high school. Somebody pulled me out and threw me away and moved me somewhere to foreign lands. But anyway, that's it, man. God bless the dead. I don't have anything positive to say about bro. Like I said, that video I'm gonna put in the description right after this. It's called "The Time the Homie Messed Up a Three-Way." If you wanna know, that's that same guy that just passed away. Yeah. Peace.